Hi, my lesson is about drawing T and F. So it's a phonics lesson, and basically the point of it is that we're supposed to have my little kindergartners that are low level and high level mixed in together to decode words and recognize lowercase letters of the alphabet. And the two letters that we were focusing on in this lesson was T and P. So my kindergartners are supposed to learn how to draw it. A lot of them don't know how to grip yet, so we're working on the pincer grip. And then there are a few who do know how to write, and so for those kids, I use I differentiated my lesson. I made it where they could identify the letter that they're tracing or writing in the air or drawing on the whiteboard or creating with little tiles. They're finding those letters in little sight words that they're going to be learning soon, like the or it or if or basically those words. So before we start the lesson, I go over the phonics song that we do with the kids, and it's basically we use Foundations, and the song I put a link to it on the lesson plan, but we go through the letters A apple, and then B bat. So T top or tickle, and so to connect the lesson to our children, what we really want to do is have words that are relevant, or have put a story behind what you're supposed to do. It's not just go into the lesson. You're supposed to say I had a hard time with this letter. Can someone tell me what this letter is? It makes the T sound, so the kids identify that letter. Oh, well, when I draw it, it almost looks like, and kids are drawing it in the air with me, and then I say, I used to get it confused with that letter F, because F kind of looks like a T and a little hoop. So the connection with those two letters is it's there's a relationship. So we're gonna use Starfall as a resource, Foundations, and we're gonna use letter blocks. We're gonna use laminated charts, expo markers, highlighters, all of these fun toy stuff to practice letters T, letters F, and also how can we find those letters in words? What do the words mean? And then when the kids are done, what I like to do is I like to tell them to find a book, okay? And then the teacher will read it. So there's always a T or an F. So the title here says, 1 is a snail, but 10 is a crab. 10. What is this letter? I mean, it's capitalized in this, but we purposefully, when I say we, I mean me and my paras, we purposefully have an intention for everything that we do that's attached to the lesson. Okay, so talking about my students with IEPs, since this is a self-contained 12-to-1, every single kid has an IEP. And we kind of know who, based on their level of functioning, who sits where. But in this lesson, I switched up the seats. So I didn't like that I switched up the seats because children like consistency. So when I switched up the seats, my kids were very quiet. They weren't really focusing so much on my lesson, whereas they were looking at the person they were sitting next to, who are you? So I kind of wish that we did the switching seats more often. That way that they wouldn't be, they would know, math, we're switching to this type of seat arrangement. Okay, English, we're going back to what our teacher said. So that I had to kind of work it out, but that's not the point. The point is I really wanted to put mixed ability grouping in each table. That way every table will have a low functioning, middle functioning, high functioning student. And the students, there are gonna be students that don't need that much attention because they're very self-motivated, and like there's always gonna be one of those in the tables. I don't want like a whole table of all the high functioning, we don't need that much attention kids, and then everyone else is getting the parent and the teacher working with them. Like I wanted it to be spread out. Also, I want kids to like look at each other and learn from one another too. So like if someone's having a hard time holding the marker and going down, then the person next to them has the whiteboard with the dots traced and they're going down, and the next person has like a picture of a truck and like it's set up so that it like helps the person draw the letters. So they kind of switch around. And oh, then there's another person taking little what is this, pattern blocks, and they're basically like forming the letter T with the pattern blocks, and there's like a silhouette already laid out for the kid to use those little pattern blocks. So those are the kids who can't hold the pen, the marker at all, or if they're finished. And then there are those kids who are like, I see a T in my name, Steven, or like, oh, that my name has that letter, so practice your name spelling. Like, we kind of change it as we go. We let the kids kind of like bring more ideas to our lesson, and we move, we flow. We have a huge like preparation. When I say we, I mean like me and like the paras. We are so over prepared, but then we also can like let it flow with the students. So after we sing the greeting song, the teachers works with us. Like I'm the teacher, I work with the kids. We try to pronounce the words. We tell the story of like how Ms. B, which is my name, struggled with F and T, and give examples of like top or fun, stuff like that. Okay, so another thing that I did was I had students roll Play-Doh and like make the letters. So they had to make like 2 like little strings, and I showed every student, like I went around to every table and I was kind of showing them like how we can do that, how we can do this. I feel like I should have, look, I have all these great boiling to the surface ideas, but I feel like it's a lot sometimes. And the reason why I think it's a lot is because I don't really have the time to go over everything in the beginning of the lesson. I kind of just let them get into it, and then I like individually explain everything to students. But I want to be able to do the opposite. I want to be able to have students understand like all the methods, all the procedures, and then when it's their turn to go, they're just like going with it, and I reinforce it walking around to see them. So yeah, that was my lesson. We definitely transitioned. Oh, my question for you guys: how could I scaffold? Because like I feel like even in last semester, my ability to take what they know and make it better, it could always get better. Like I want to be more creative. So do you guys have any ideas of how I can like creatively scaffold this lesson? And also, how do I absorb what they know and like grade them so that I can say, okay, this person understood that? Because they could also just be like having fun and copying one another, and I don't really know if they know it. So I mean, a lot of the times my parents are like writing the answers for them, and then like the kids just copy. That's not really knowing something. So what are your ideas? Please let me know. I'm here to grow. And also tell me a glow. Thanks.